So our story begins with an obscure rapper with an inflated idea of self-worth called Azealia Banks, who expected better treatment than a peasant like ourselves on a flight because she's famous, don't you know. It ended with her complaining about a flight attendant calling them
ugly Irish, you know, like, he's like ugly Irish women here, like.
The long and short as to what led to this outburst on video is as follows. She, being Azealia Banks, was right at the front. A male friend was putting her things in the overhead locker, but Azealia needed something out of her bag. She was stood in the aisle on preventing other passengers from boarding. Then she turned to the hostess and said, "Are you staring at me? Why are you staring at me? I didn't fill out an Aer Lingus form to be stared at." The hostess was being quite confrontational. She said to her, "I need to know if you're going to cause more trouble on this flight. If someone's rude to a stewardess, it is something we have to ask. It's protocol." Now I assume that is a quote from a member of Aer Lingus staff, that it's not properly a quotation there. Azealia said something to her friend about it being a power play. She said, "I am on this flight and I am famous." Now this was the incident that was the catalyst for the online meltdown that followed, a meltdown for the ages on her personal Instagram. It led to Azealia coming out with some absolute whopper insults, which myself and the Irish nation as a whole are still currently reeling from. Here is a collection of some of the insults. We have, "Don't you have a famine to go die in?" Absolute classic one right there. We got this one, which probably is my favourite. "Because most of you can't talk or write, lol. You lot are a bunch of prideful inbred leprechauns who have zero global influence and zero white privilege. The rest of the world's white folk don't want to associate with you lot at all, and it's because you are barbarians." You heard it here first, fellas. Irish people have zero white privilege. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. I don't know if I get a rebate or something for not having white privilege, but I'll have to look into that. But I'll be sure to cite this as, you know, proof of my lack of white privilege in the future whenever I'm challenged. So thank you, Azealia. I appreciate it. The last one here that I have is, "I'm happiest knowing the Irish are all quarantined on an isle so they can continue to inbreed and keep their defective genes away from the rest of humanity." Well, clearly Azealia doesn't know her history as well as she thinks she does, because we broke that quarantine a long time ago, and we've already infected a lot of America with our defective genes. So she better watch out. But whoa, slow down there, Johnny. After all this information, I don't want you getting the wrong idea. Just to clarify things, here's a history lesson from our girl. It's impossible for a black person to be racist. As a singular black woman from NYC, I lack the institutional leverage to economically or socially oppress people in Ireland. Well, see, that's all you bigots out there assuming she was being racist from the start. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. Don't you know she's a singular black woman? She can't be racist. It's physically impossible, economically or socially. So all you guys out there, all you white men out there, better leave this poor victim alone. You guys get out of here with your PP the Frogs and your Dodge Challengers. Next thing you know, you guys are going to start smirking at her. God damn it, dude, why is this so believable?